People keep asking if you're back. Yeah, I'm thinking you're back. So for all those returning players that have come back to the game lately, we've got a top 10 list of stuff you should know. So we'll talk about that more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 347. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi Seema, how's it going?
Wow, I had to look around. I thought I was in the room with John Wick right then.
I didn't even push the. Didn't really do. I didn't. That wasn't an impression. I just. You know.
You were. That was.
It was
you
a
sounded
little
like
bit
a
there.
Tough guy.
A little bit. People keep asking if I'm back. I haven't really known what to do. I'll do it later.
You're right. You didn't push it. That was more pushing. Well, let's see. I don't have a lot of SWTOR news this week. I haven't played a lot this just because of stuff going on in life. But the guild did do their normal MFN this week. Max will have to tell you what that was about. But I was able to make our ops night this week where we did TFB in the group finder, which we don't normally use group finder. And I forget that you get rewards at the end. So I was happy because you get processed stabilizers in that reward. So I'm like, yay, cool.
Useful things.
But it's been a while since we were in TFB too, so it was fun to be in there. And so this week I have not been in the casino yet, except for right now we're standing in the casino. So I haven't spent a token yet, nor have I hit the swoop races yet, which I'm going to this weekend. So that's kind of what I have to say for this week so far. How about you, Max?
Yeah, a little bit of a crazy week on this side too. You know, actually, my youngest daughter graduated high school at the normal time, in theory, back in May.
That's a milestone.
But they didn't actually they postponed the graduation ceremony and finally had the modified ceremony today. And it was like broken up into small groups and a bunch of social distancing and a bunch of stuff. But that was today, and there's other stuff a little bit going on around that this week. But I did do, I didn't do our ops night tonight because of that, but I did do, as you said, our mandatory fun night on Tuesday. The biggest thing, the fun thing going on is both returning players and players new to Star Wars. We've got a bunch of people coming in. So in addition to doing some open world things that other people could try out, like Rampage and world bosses, so gear and level didn't really matter. We also did a tour of our guild ship and our guild stronghold. Well, just a guild ship, because our guild stronghold on the Republic side is not the Rishi hideout, which is fun on the Imperial side. But we've got, I mean, if you're a returning player or new to the game, having a guild ship that's got the appearance modification station and the weapon augment station and all of the cargo storage, you know, personal, legacy and guild storage and a GTN and yada yada yada. So it's got everything on there. That's kind of nice and useful. It also then shows off the kinds of decos that they can get for their own stronghold. So it was a nice tour for those people. Plus they could then go upstairs to our crew quarters and play with the costume disguise machines that we have and turn themselves into huts. So that was fun too.
Yes, right.
Always
Which is always
a good time.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was able to show off the picture we took of all of us dressed up as huts in the elevator. That was hilarious and spontaneous a while back. So yeah. Same though, I haven't done too much in the casino. Is nightlife still going on? I believe it is, because look, we're right here, and we are on Mek Sha. I had not actually come to Mek Sha. I've been doing all my casino time in the casinos on Nar Shaddaa. If you're here on Mek Sha, I did finally find them. There is no Embers token machine on Mek Sha. We'll talk a little bit about how that was broken and then was supposed to be fixed and was still broken, but there are regular and Kingpin slot machines, and they're in the bazaar area, sort of that shopping area on Mek Sha, which is kind of cool. This is a nice place to come and a lot less crowded. You might want to come here if you're looking for a place to use the slot machines. One tip though, if you're on Nar Shaddaa, it's nice to use the PvP instance because that's typically a little less populated, and the Star Cluster Casino, or whichever casino you might have, depending on the side you're on, will not have the opposing faction in the casino because their casinos are faction locked. On Maksha, if you're in the PvP instance, it is a shared zone and actual PvP can happen, so keep an eye out for that.
Right. So if someone takes your machine, you
You
can kill
can
them.
shoot them. That would be nice sometimes, so maybe that's a plus. All right, so that is what we've been doing. Let's catch up on some news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Quick update in the news. And hey, here's another tip for people that are returning to the game. There are 3 people that are focused on the community, sort of the community managers these days. It's Daniel Steed, it's Eric Musco, and it's a third lesser named or unnamed person. I don't think they ever named that person, did they? But if you look in the dev tracker, you'll see community manager or something. And that person, very often, their job seems to be one of their key jobs seems to be combing the forums for reports of issues and bugs and problems, highlighting them, getting them back to the dev team. It's really nice to see that that kind of thing is going on. And you can also watch the dev tracker then to see if the issues you're having are being reported and if they're scheduled to be fixed in a particular patch. So we keep an eye on it every week. The biggest thing that people were hoping was going to be fixed this week on Tuesday was nightlife, because the Kingpin machines in particular were broken. You could use them a couple times and then they would break
The
down.
Emperor's Grace, the Emperor's
Emperor's
Grace
Grace,
machines.
not the Kingpin, yeah. The Emperor's Grace, the big new jackpot machine with the hut standing
Right.
next to it, Emperor's Grace, which I think there's only 3 in the game. But anyway, they would break down and they would have a whole line of players, and then it would break down and everybody would be really sad. It was supposed to be fixed on Tuesday, and apparently it wasn't even fixed on Tuesday, and it still wasn't fixed, but they did fix it on Wednesday, and as of now, people are saying it's fixed. So there you go.
Yeah, so other updates on that same, there was a couple of fixes that went into Duxon, which is the nature of progress operation, as well as that fix that you just mentioned. And then there was also a quest that wasn't working for some people that got fixed in that patch as well.
I heard reports that one of the nightlife quest still was having a little bit of issues, but that may be specific to that person, or there may be a couple more things they could still fix.
Yeah, there's like a list of little quest item things that were fixed on this, so maybe they weren't all fixed.
Yeah. Also in the news, the start, and this was again a tiny bit of a glitch. On Tuesday, the 28th, we were supposed to get the start of PvP season 13, and they half turned it on, but it didn't get turned on all the way. So that was another thing they fixed on Wednesday, apparently. I haven't gotten confirmation. I think it's fixed. They said it was supposed to be fixed on Wednesday. They never had a follow-up post that said, yes, it's definitely fixed. Every match you play now will count. I would love a ranked PvPer to reply in the chat room right now and let us know if it actually is fixed or not. It was supposed to be fixed as of yesterday, so here on the 29th and the 30th, so today's the 30th, it should be fixed. Every PvP season 13 should be live, and your matches should all start counting now. So get on it. Get to go kill your friends, because if you don't, who will?
And if you haven't noticed, swoop races are back this week.
I'm thinking they're
So you
back.
you can continue your rep journey with them and your token acquisition so you can buy the rewards. And it's going to be back every month for a while, the next few months.
So yes, it's nice to have swoop races back. It's nice to have it coming back often enough where you can get through all of those reps and get that done. In guild and community news, Seema, what do we have going on next week for the guild?
Yeah, so next week is our Summer of Love event. We do this every year, and we have done it for many years, AIE as the Greater Guild. And basically, it's an event that we run across all our games, And so pretty much every night during the week of August 2nd through August 9th, we'll have something going on in one of our games. People are invited to participate in any of the games or just drop into Discord and chat with people. August 2nd is our Remembrance Day, where we get together and um, basically have a memorial for uh, people that we have all known and lost from either our gaming connections or even people share about stuff in real life. But it's a way that we connect as a guild and also remember people. So that is what we have going on next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed
Yeah, it is.
week of fun. It's going to be pretty cool. It'll go through Saturday the 1st to Sunday the 8th. There'll be multiple things on some of the nights. Sunday the 2nd, again, is the big Remembrance Day, but there's even an event in WoW Classic earlier that day. Star Wars
Yeah.
will have events on Tuesday and Friday. A couple bigger events on both of those. Tuesday will be a combination, like a triple event. It'll be a mandatory fun night plus a mega plus Summer of Love special event. And then Friday will be a fun Flashpoint, fashionable Flashpoints. It's going to be some Flashpoint runs for the Aerotech Coral. Plus, I think Mal's going to be giving away some prizes for your outfit designer type stuff. But there's going to be a ton of stuff in ESO and Final Fantasy and WoW Alliance and WoW Horde, multiple events in WoW, Star Trek. Eve, I even believe, is going to be doing some stuff. Eve has spun back up. Apparently, there's a war that started up with goons again. World War B 2. The B is an emblem for the Goon Squad, which is one of the biggest corp alliances in Eve. So they tend to fight against everybody, and everybody tends to fight against them. It's sort of like a single server thing. So World War B is the.
I mean, they used to be a presence in WoW, also Goon Squad.
They are a presence lots of places still.
Yeah.
They are quite big. They are not the friendliest group.
Nope. That is not their niche.
So, do with that what you will.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. But they style themselves as the villain in these games quite a bit, which is
right. It
so
takes all kinds.
takes all kinds. They were all bad. Also, though, not associated with our summer event, but there's another event in Star Wars I did want to give a shout out to this week. One of our creator community, relatively new to this SWTOR official content creator community, is Sith Lord Brit. She has been a streamer for quite a while, a supporter of Star Wars, playing Star Wars: The Old Republic for a long time. At SithLord_Brit on Twitter and twitch.tv/SithLord_Brit. She is having, and she's done this multiple times before, a Stronghold contest, decorating contest on Starforge on August 6th. So that is coming up next week as well. Go check her out on Twitter or go to her channel. I think on her Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SithLord_Brit, you can get to her sort of channel Discord, and there might be more information on it there. But it's coming up on the 6th. You can check in with her and get involved in that. I love the Stronghold stuff. In fact, we're going to talk about that as a returning tip for returning players as well. And as always, shout out to the chat room. Shout out to all the returning players. It is really awesome to see everybody coming back, and super shout out to anybody who's new to Star Wars: The Old Republic. There's just been a lot of energy that's come into the game recently. I mean, we've been hitting it hard for 7-8 years now, but this Steam event, this introduction of the game back onto Steam for the first time, has generated a lot of buzz, and it's really fun. So welcome. So with that in mind, with the returning players, and we might do a top 10 for brand new players. So maybe keep an eye out for that next week or the week after. But for returning players,
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
so that audio, that audio I recorded from one of my friends who played Star Wars: The Old Republic at launch and played for a couple years, but hasn't played recently. And they said, yeah, they're back. His name's John. Anyway,
He sounded like Max to me.
what people keep asking if I'm back. I haven't really had an answer. I'll have to work on it a little bit. But yeah,
Sean is back.
I'm thinking I'm back. Shima, I'm thinking I'm back. People keep asking if I'm back. Anyway, that's Sean Wick.
Yeah, Sean Wick.
I'll play your game. I am Sean Wick.
Kevinick in chat rooms asking what was that clip?
That clip? That's John Wick. That's John Wick.
Yeah.
People keep
I'm with
asking
you,
if I'm
Kevinick.
back.
I had to look that one up too.
Yeah, that's John Wick. He's back. He's playing Star Wars again. Star Wars: The Old Republic. Anyway, for those people that are back, top 10 list, 10-ish, 10 things, 10 areas, 10 things we wanted to call out. Let's get into it. Let's remind you of some things that are kind of new to the game, or in the last couple years. I mean, some of this stretches back, but also some things that are going to be relevant and the kinds of questions that people are asking quite a bit as they return. So let's start off with this first one, Seema. Why don't you introduce this first one and your view of it, because I know you looked into it a little bit, and then I know there's a couple articles and resources out there for it too.
So if you're returning, you may be thinking, should I sub? Should I be free to play, or should I go preferred? And yeah, so the answer to that is you can actually play either of those ways. If you play free to play, you can play all of the class stories up to level 60 and the first 2 expansions. So you can do quite a bit without paying anything. To get preferred status, all you have to do is spend $5 in the store. But what would be even better than that would be to subscribe for a month. And that will give you access to all the content that's happened since the last time you played.
Yeah.
If you're going to be if your interest is in in-game group content kind of stuff, and you want to be working on your gear, then subscription is the way to go, because that'll allow you to do as much PvP as you want. It will allow you access to operations and access to ranked PvP. If you're preferred, you can play some PvP, but it's capped. I think it's 10.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but it's something like that.
10 flashpoints, 10 PvP matches.
But if you're mainly a solo player, if the joy you get in the game is playing the storylines from different points of view and creating new characters and doing dailies, and you have different goals for yourself, and you like to play, you don't mind, chatting with people, but you mostly play solo, then subscribing for a month and then unsubscribing, is just fine.
Yeah, they have made changes to the free, and if you played before, you're probably preferred at a minimum. It's very hard to not be preferred. If you've spent any money whatsoever ever with the game, you bought $5 worth of cartel coins ever, or you subscribed ever, you're preferred. The only way you can be completely free is if you never spent anything with BioWare or EA on Star Wars: The Old Republic ever. So returning players are probably preferred. They did, though, expand the preferred tier of services in the last 6 months. It's they added some things on. They expanded it out. They gave you a higher, like up to 1 million credits now is the credit cap. They added more expansions that you might not have had before. More quick bar. Yeah. So you might have much more than you expected even just being preferred. So keep that in mind. One other thing I
And what
thought
we
about. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say what I found out today, I hadn't really thought about it, but if you had um the key fob or a
Hmm.
what's the application called on your account all this time while
Authenticator.
you weren't playing? Authenticator, thank you. You've been accumulating cartel coins.
Yes, I was just gonna mention that exactly.
Oh, see, I
That's
was
that's
reading your mind that time.
exactly. If you had the authenticator attached to your account, you've been gaining. It's like only like 100 coins, but you've
Yeah.
been getting a bonus of 100 cartel coins into your account this whole time, whether you've been subscribed or not, or ever played or ever logged in. We've had people that came back. And in fact, we just had someone come back today. A guildie jumped back in, had not played for a few years, and has 10,000 cartel coins sitting there.
Yeah.
10,000 cartel coins. That's not insignificant. That will buy you quite a bit of things. Like one of the most one of the that's another question sort of related to this that I would recommend we answer, which is people ask, I've got a bunch of these cartel coins. I'm coming back as preferred. What should I use them on? The one thing I would recommend you use them on if you haven't done it yet is artifact gear unlock. That's just a little bit of an annoying thing. You can't, if you get a piece of artifact gear, purple gear drops, you can't equip it unless you have that. I think it's about 2,000 cartel coins to unlock it for your account. You might want to do that.
Right. That's if you're preferred. If you're subbed, then that
You
doesn't
got
even
it.
come up. Yeah.
If you go back to preferred, though, again, it won't be unlocked. So maybe just save some coins for if you go back to preferred that you could unlock a couple things. If you're subbed and you equip gear, it won't make you unequip it if you go back to preferred. You get to equip everything you've got. So don't worry about that. The other things that I would recommend spending coins on are legacy-wide expansions to things like the quick bars, things like cargo hold storage, things like, and then I save coins for legacy unlocks of fun things in the cartel collection. So depending on how far you go back, things that you bought off the cartel market are now in your collections. And your collections, if you open something out of a cartel market or like a crate, or you buy a one-time thing off the market, it will show up just for that character. And then you can pay, and it's usually not very much. You can pay like here, I've got this encrypted data cube, which I haven't unlocked for all my characters because I don't really care about it. But if I wanted to, I've got it on this character, but not my other characters. I could pay 60 cartel coins and unlock it for every character on my account. So these legacy unlocks of cartel collection items, that's something I personally save my coins for.
If you're preferred, can you buy a stronghold?
I believe so, because you could just buy it off you'll just buy it off the cartel market.
Because if you think you would enjoy a stronghold, that is a really good use for cartel coins.
Yes, it used to be an important use of cartel coins. Now it doesn't matter anymore because they've upped the limit of how many strongholds you could have. It used to be a low limit of strongholds, though, something like 4 or 5. And we'll get to it in a second, how many strongholds we have now. That's one of our categories of items. But if you ever needed to deactivate a stronghold, say they added 10 more strongholds and there's still only a limit of 10, and now we've got 20 in the game. If you ever need to deactivate a stronghold and then reactivate it, if you used cartel coins, there's 0 reactivation cost. If you used credits, you have to pay those credit costs again, which are kind of expensive for some of the strongholds. Anyway, that's the first one. I think I go with your recommendation, Seema. If anybody's coming back or new to the game, I recommend subscribe for 1 month. Just subscribe for a month. Bite the bullet, $15, subscribe for the month, and you get all content, and you get to keep all of the content, all of the expansions, all of everything. You get to do everything in the game. You get to try out everything for that month, and then you get to keep a lot of that when you go back to preferred, even if you go back to preferred at the end of the month.
Yeah, all the content you get to keep. Like, it's not like you have to complete it all in that month. You've got that. The only thing that sort of rubber bands is these kinds of things, like how many quick bars you can have and what your escrow amount is and stuff like that.
Right. All right, that's number one. We're rolling along here.
This might be quite okay. So another thing people ask is like, should I start a new character from level 1 or should I try and continue my main from back in the day? And one of the things is um, they've made it really easy to figure out where you were in your storyline if that's what you were worried about, because now the class stories have a purple icon. So in your mission log, it'll be the quest that's purple. That'll be the next quest in your storyline. Or if you see an NPC and they have a purple triangle above their heads, that is a quest in your class quest. If you don't have anything purple in your mission log, then go check on your ship, because there's a mission terminal on your ship. You might be in between major storylines, so you might be ready to jump to the next thing, and it'll be there on your ship in the mission terminal. So
Yep.
that's how you find out where you are.
You can also, there's an annoying new feature that was added. I forgot what they call
yeah.
this. So it's
Like Galactic Guide or something?
Yeah, I think it's Galactic. Yeah, I think that might be a Galactic Guide. So the Galactic Guide is also showing up on your screen. You can move it around. You can you hit escape and you go interface editor and you can move it around a little bit. Oh wait, why can't I move it around now?
You can move it around, but you have to grab it by the teeny tiny little bar around the black part.
Oh, so you don't move it in the interface editor. Not in the interface
Right.
editor. You just move
Not
it by
in the
itself.
interface editor.
Weird.
Yeah.
In there, it will also show you what should be the top thing on your story progression.
Right. It tries to figure out what is the top thing for you to do.
The other thing it'll do, like right now, it's also showing the current event that's going on, and it's showing something to spend your cartel coins on, which I think is the real reason that they put that into the game, but we'll not rant about that right now.
Right. I'm actually kind of enjoying that, because now I feel like I won't miss the fact that today I can buy a Nexu. Like, I won't find out tomorrow that yesterday it was 50% off,
Yeah, that's true. And this is actually a pretty cool creature companion, and we'll talk about companions in just a sec too.
Okay.
But that's a good one. So if you're lost and trying to figure out where you're supposed to go, that's what you can do. Something related to this, I don't think I put it in another of the items. You can skip ahead. So
yeah, there are a lot of skips.
There are a lot of opportunities built into the game to be able to skip ahead these days. If you want to get to the most recent story, you can go to your ship, onto your personal starship, and you can say, you can click the start the mission to take me to the most recent story. It will auto-complete some of the choices along the way, because remember, choices kind of matter. So for some of us at this point in the game, 2020 to, June of 2020, some people's, if on the Sith side, some people have Asina as their Sith Emperor. Other people do not. And that choice has to be made along the way. So it will auto-complete some choices, but it will take you directly to Onderon. No.
Onderon, yeah.
No, it's the one before. It's
Osis, right? Because there's a little
Osis.
Storyline on Osis, right?
You got to do Osis before. We'll get to that in a second. How they added like 10 or I think 75 planets named with the letter O that start with letter O. Between 10 and 75, I can never figure it out. But what did you just say? Osis. Oh, it'll take you directly to Osis. You'll do the prelude to the current content, and then you'll go to Onderon and Mekshah and do the current content. So you'll be all caught up. I would recommend. If you want to do that on one character, so you catch up and you're doing, you get to see Onderon and Mekshah. I don't think it would be bad to do it. I would do it on an alt and catch up on an alt, but then take your main character and play through all of the story. Because remember, story is the strength of Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's really cool. I would not skip it. Even if you're back in the Revan days, play through it all. Play through Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne. Your preference for how the story goes may be better or worse, but all of it is still really well done. I still think it's tops compared to any of the AAA MMOs that are out there today. Just the way the story is handled. There's good stories in WoW and in Final Fantasy. Those two in particular have good stories, but fully voiced, fully acted, immersive stories that you are part of the story, I think is represented the best in Star Wars. So definitely enjoy it. All right, so that's number 2. Number 3, gear. People ask this all the time. How do I get gear? What's the new gear cap? What do I got to do about gear? So I'll kick this one off, and then I'm interested in your perspective on it too. And this isn't gonna be a gear guide section. There's plenty of gear guides, but to kick it off, gear barely matters these days for everything except endgame. Except gear progression is kind of a fun thing to get into once you get to level 75. So definitely don't worry about gear before level 75 at all. And you could practically level up to 75 naked. So don't worry about gear at all before level 75.
And we do.
In fact, it's easy to forget because you will be passing gear between characters quite a bit if you have a lot of characters. We quite often will go in and we've done I've tanked operations naked because we have a costume system these days too, and so you can look like you're fully clothed, and then you look at your character sheet and you realize, oh, all my gear slots are empty, and that's why it's been a little bit I've been a little bit squishy in this operation. But there's bolster systems, there's things that are giving you stats even if you are naked. So
But actually, what I was thinking about when I said that was that if you were here for the Dark versus Light event and you have the XP gear, like I level in that gear and it's got no stats at all. So, I mean, it's very few stats. Like I don't put mods or anything in it so that I never have to worry about not being able to equip it.
Right. And I leveled up my scoundrel from I put level 10 mods in that gear for that scoundrel. And I think I went to level 50 with those level 10 mods in that XP gear.
I just go all the way to 70.
Might as well. I think I only went to 50. I think I was going to do a couple. I was going to start doing you could really do anything. I don't know why I did it, but
honestly, if I have any trouble, I would rather just up my companion to
companion influence. And we'll mention companions in a minute too. But yeah, your companions take care of you. They're pretty sweet that way. Pretty nice crew you got there. Once you get to 75 in the new world in 2020 in Star Wars, gear is one of the better systems they've had for acquiring gear in the past. It takes a little bit to learn it. You might want to read up on a guide on it, but there's a vertical progression. So once you finish your stories at level 75, will have a full set of item level 270 gear. So don't buy any gear before that. You'll get as quest rewards, mission rewards, full 270. Then there's vertical progression and horizontal progression.
Don't scrutinize your gear. Don't say, "Oh, I'm going to keep this 260 because it's got alacrity and alacrity is my stat." No, just take the highest eye level as you go.
Yeah, because then there's two systems. There's vertical progression up to 306. And there's horizontal progression, which is getting the cool sets that you want. And there might be multiple to go after. The vertical progression only works with equipping the highest level pieces you have. If you've got them on another character and you want to put it in a legacy, in a piece of legacy gear and pass it over to your character, no matter where you get them, get the highest item level pieces on your character. And then you'll get random -4 to +2. So you'll be slowly getting up an eye level up to 306.
Plus, that's new too. Like everything is bind to legacy now, left side and right side.
Yes, everything new. So
everything new.
Your old stuff might not be, but everything new and everything that drops at 75, like here, I've got these implants and my earpiece and my 2 implants bound to legacy. You never used to be able to pass those around before. Now you can. So once you get your first character to 306, that's it. You're done. You pass that gear to your second character. Even if it's like all healer gear, You pass that gear to your tank.
Or
You go
tank gear.
you go
Yeah.
you go
Oh yeah.
tank some stuff, and you'll get tank gear that will drop that you'll replace then. So you just go tank some easy stuff for a while, and open some crates and do some flashpoints. It'll all be 306, 304, 305, 306 at that point, and you'll fill in those gear slots really fast. So that's vertical. And you can look at guides on, there's some tips and tricks on doing it faster and how to get faster. And if you feel like you're getting stuck, there's tricks to that too. But we even did podcasts on it. You can go look up our podcasts about it. Horizontal progression means once I'm full 306, what do I do then? The fun doesn't end. There's two things that you'll be doing at 306 that you'll do now and you'll continue to do, and they'll be adding more to the game over time, and that is tacticals and sets. So your sets will be like here. I'm wearing concentrated fire on my mercenary because this is a great set for almost all mercenary specs. Even healing, you still wear concentrated fire, right, Seema?
Yeah.
Yeah. So both the DPS specs and the healing spec on mercenaries and commandos wear concentrated fire. It's got a great set bonus.
There's a competing set also, but I'm still wearing concentrated fire.
So that's a best in slot set, and there's sites you can go look up on the best in slot sets. But there's other great sets, and there's other sets that you'll probably be building up along the way. There's some fun sets. There's a set that you'll just probably get randomly along the way. It's called the Victor's set, which is a great set for just doing like dailies. So you'll be building up your sets for all of your alts. There'll typically be a best in slot set that you can look up, or you can go to Theory Crafters and see what they say for your class. But there'll also be fun sets, and there'll be new sets that are added to the game. Like there's actually a slightly better set if I wanted to go Arsenal on my Merc. But that set only drops from some of the harder content and newer content in the game, the Ducks in Operation. So I don't have that full set yet. So Concentrated Fire is a great set for me right now, but if I wanted to switch to Arsenal, I would use Concentrated Fire until I got my whole Apex Predator set. That idea of now I've got a set and I'm going to get more and more sets over time, that's horizontal progression, because that can continue. And I don't have to worry about ranking up my item level. I'm done. I just get fun horizontal stuff that could go forever, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then tacticals. Why don't you explain tacticals, Seema? Because that's probably new for a lot of people too.
So tactical is a completely new slot in your gear. So like if you look at your character sheet, it's above your relics. It adds an extra, not usually an ability, but an extra bit of spice.
Like a modification to your modification.
Right. So like for instance, the one that I have is called Running Restoration. And when I equip it, it makes my healing scan so that it can be activated while moving, and it heals for an additional 15%. So healing scan is my long activation heal. It takes 1.86 seconds for me to activate it. And now I can do that while I'm moving, which is really kind of a game changer. So tacticals are a pretty major part of your spec. So for each spec, there's one or two tacticals that are considered best in slot. However, there's a bunch of tacticals that are just fun to have. So you can search for the best in slot ones, but then you can also get the fun ones as well.
Right. I carry two tacticals on my mercenary. One is better for AoE, and one is better for single target, and I'll switch back and forth a little bit. The new event that just came out has like almost like cosmetic tacticals. You equip the tactical,
which I love that,
and they do some hilarious things with your mounts. Like when you exit your mount, your mount will explode and you'll go flying into the air. It's just like it's just like a cosmetic effect. You'll want to switch to an actual effective tactical when you start fighting something, but that's a kind of a cool idea. So that's another thing to collect.
But I mean, even if you forget to switch, I mean, we played all this time without. Yeah.
It's a minor thing. It's It does
If you're running around doing
make
your
you a
dailies or
little more
whatever,
effective, but yeah.
yeah, you might as well
Again, you
have
can do your
something
dailies
fun.
naked, so don't
Right.
worry about it.
Right. Exactly. And if you have your dismount flourish tactical on, your whole raid team's going to know it this first time you jump off your speeder anyway, so that'll remind you.
And if you're an R ops team and that happens, you will get 2 thumbs up from all of us. So
Yeah, right. Right.
couple other let's just name a couple other things that have to do with gear. These might be things you'll want to look up when you get to it. Don't worry about it now, but yes, so Kevinik in the chat room says amplifiers. Yes, amplifiers are a brand new thing, and they're like a tiny bit of stat customization that's added on to gear. Don't worry about those until after your 306 and after you have your full set. Amplifiers and re-rolling your amplifiers to optimize the last 1 or 2% of what you can be doing with your gear. Look those up at that point.
Yeah, and don't do what I did, which is get sort of tunnel vision and re-roll, because you can re-roll them for a small number of credits, except for it, it increases sort of geometrically before you notice it's for a large amount of credits.
Yeah. And you'll burn through tons of credits. In fact, again, read up on those systems once you get to that point, because there are ways you can sort of game that system. You can roll it a little bit. If you don't get the thing you want, you're going to swap. You just throw it away and you'll start fresh with another mod.
Yeah, for your spec, there's going to be an amplifier that you'll be looking for.
So Clifford Dog says amplifiers are important. Amplifiers are only important in the hardest content in the game. If you're new back to the game and you're just doing story mode flashpoints and story mode operations and dailies, or you're just playing through the story, amplifiers are not important at all. Once you start getting to PvP, especially ranked PvP, you start doing veteran or nightmare mode content or master mode flashpoints, then yeah, amplifiers. In fact, amplifiers can even be slightly more important in level 70 operations than they are at 75. So thanks, Clifford. Just a couple other things to throw out there. Depending on how far you go back, crystals for your weapons, you should be getting cartel. You can buy them from the GTN, but you should be getting cartel market crystals. The first time you buy one and use it, it will unlock in your collection, and you can make unlimited copies on that character. In fact, you can take those unlimited copies, stick it in a legacy weapon, like my blaster here, and pass that weapon to another character, and then they get that crystal too. So you only need to unlock a crystal ever on one character, and then you could pass it around and unlock it for your whole legacy. But you should be using those plus 41 crystals out of the cartel market. And then the other thing is, if you played it all in Knights of the Old Republic, in Knights of the Fallen Empire or Knights of the Eternal Throne, you were probably used to I forgot even what the system was
called.
What
was it called?
The crates.
Galactic.
It wasn't
Command?
Conquest. Command. Yeah, command crates. So the command crates system, there's a kind of a system in the end game now called Renown, where you get Renown ranks once you get to level 75. Don't worry about it. It is not like Galactic Command. It's not where you're supposed to get your gear. Don't get gear out of those command. Look, I even have a bunch of Renown crates sitting here that I don't even open. The Renown crates can get you like set pieces and stuff. They can get you gear as you're leveling up, like from 270 to 306, but they're just a side thing. You'll get most of your gear from like running flashpoints and just doing stuff in the game. Don't worry about Renown. It's not like command crates. It's not how you get gear. Don't worry about it. All right, that's number 3. We'll go a little faster on these ones. So they're the complicated ones, and we wanted to front load with some of the important stuff.
Yeah. This will be a quick one. We have some new events that have come to us in the last couple of years. One is the Pirate Incursion, which happens on a new planet, which is Dantooine. And that joined the lineup with Bounty Contract Week and GRE and all those. We have the Swoop Rally, obviously, because that's happening this week, and it's going to happen every month for the next few months. And then we have the Nar Shaddaa Nightlife, which is going on now but it's an expanded version of the Nar Shaddaa nightlife, which I think is a great trend. I hope they do that to all the recurring events over time. And let's see. Oh, we have tons of new planets, and they all start with the letter O, apparently. There's major new daily areas like C198, Black Hole, Section X, if you really have been gone for a long time. Oh, and here's a note from, I guess who put this note in here. Meksha is amazing! Exclamation point.
It's amazing, but apparently it makes the frame rate for the Twitch stream bad, so we had to leave Meksha. But yeah, so there's new events, and they added some new planets for those events. But then, yeah, if you haven't been back in a while, just look at the galactic map. I counted 29 planets. Some of those are like, I mean, you could technically go to Darvanis. There's not much going on there. It's really part of the story. CZ198 is, well, it's not actually a planet, it's a moon, but CZ198, you only go there for the dailies. But look at all this stuff all over the galactic map. There's tons of stuff. And yes, like, there's like 33 planets that start with the letter O. So when somebody tells you
Can
need
you
to
go to Darvanis though, or do
Yeah.
you have to have played through chapter
You have to
something or
have played
other?
through the chapter before you can get there. But then after you've
Well,
played through the chapter,
okay.
but if you skip ahead, then you can.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I knew you could go there. I just meant you can't just go there. One does
Yeah.
not just go to
You can't.
Darvanis.
One does not simply walk into Darvanis. The great eye, the very air is a vapor. Blah blah blah. But I used to go to Darvanis all the time because it's a great place to get grade 10 crafting materials. Now you don't need very many grade 10 crafting materials. I think they may even have backed it off to grade 9 at this point. Now we're using grade 11, which we'll talk about in a second also. But yeah, Meksha is amazing. Onderon's a cool place. Play through the stories, you'll see the planets. Meksha, again, is not a planet. It's an asteroid that's been mined out. Really cool artwork. I love Meksha. It's one of my favorites. A lot of cool places to visit, though. Enjoy them. There's a place. There's a thing to do. Those last 3 that you'll get to that are sort of the newest to the game are Meksha, Onderon, and Osis. Yeah, those 3. But yeah, and as Seema said, new events like the pirate incursion is new. The pirate event on, what planet is that on?
Dantooine.
Dantooine, which
I
is
just said it like 2 minutes ago.
I was
typing. Not listening. I get it.
Oh, Seema's talking now. I can like, Scotch. I love. This is actually bourbon. This is so good.
Dantooine is very peaceful too on the off weeks.
Yeah, on the weeks that the pirates are not incursioning there, yeah, you can go there and you can hang out. There's some
like this week.
There's off-cycle things like achievements and stuff too. You might want to look those up. Those are kind of cool. Point number 5, halfway. Point number 5. Quality of life updates. There are quite a few quality of life updates that have come in the last couple years that you might not be familiar with, again, depending on how long it's been. Quick travel unlocks. You can get quick travel down to
a game changer.
Yeah,
and a life changer.
You can. Where do you do that? I think you do that on Y, and then you go character perks. So check out your character perks page when you hit Y. There's stuff here that's amazing. So field respec. I would unlock this. Unlock all this stuff with credits. You'll get tons of credits. If you don't have credits yet, wait till join our guild, do conquest for 1 week, and you will have millions and millions of credits.
And actually, to combine it with what you were just saying about exploring all the planets, if you unlock this stuff, then you can go to all these planets. All the taxi points will be unlocked. And then you can earn XP on your character just by flying around and checking things out.
In fact, we proved it in a previous, maybe like 3 or 4 podcasts ago. You can just from some tricks from level 1, using some tricks for exploring a couple planets at starting at level 1, you can get to like level 12 or 14 just by exploring some things like in the first 5 minutes of playing. But yeah, so field respec, 0 cooldown on quick travel. Those two in particular are amazing. Then every planet you get to, every every taxi point is automatically unlocked on the entire planet. And then as soon as you use that taxi point, if there's a quick travel point there that's associated with it, once you travel to it the first time, that automatically gets unlocked as you travel to it. So say you've never been to Yavin 4 before. There's like 5 taxi points. Just take the taxi ride to the very end and you'll get quick travel points along the way, all unlocked, and then you can immediately quick travel to any of those. So
Yeah.
that is very cool.
I mean, 0 cooldown and 0 cooldown on fleet. Return to the fleet too, which when the game started, wasn't it like on a 1-week cooldown or something? Really long.
Yeah, right. So I could the quick travel to the fleet, like the emergency fleet pass, is so, and like quick travel points, you'll find yourself using them. Like I can see the quick travel point over there, or I'm just down the hallway on the fleet, but I know the fleet quick travel point is like over here. I'll be like quick traveling just to go like 20 yards. So definitely do those unlocks. So the quick travel cooldown, the legacy fleet travel cooldown, and the field respecialization. So that's when you hit. You used to have to go to somebody on the fleet if you wanted to respec. So that's you hit K, and I want to change from innovative ordnance to arsenal. I used to have to do that by going to talk to somebody on the fleet. I can do that from anywhere now. That's one. And then there's another one for if I want to change, like add an augment slot to my weapons or add an augment slot to a piece of gear. Like here, I don't have an augment slot opened on this, an augment kit on this, my Relic of Devastating Vengeance, because I have too many of these, they float around. I can do this on the fly if I happen to have an augment kit in my inventory. You used to have to go to an augment station, right? That's another one that you can unlock with credits. So great quality of life options there. Number 6. What's number 6, Seema?
Now we have at least 1,000 available companions.
Yes.
No more just 5 or 6 companions. We have hundreds of them. At least 1,000.
There are, yeah, there are. Well, I was thinking you were joking, because I haven't even unlocked all the companions that I could. But look here, I'm scrolling now. I'm scrolling here. I'll try to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 12 on a page. So zoom. So I have 12. That's about another 10. So 22 down to my nexus. That's about another 10 if I'm taking those lines out. So that's another 32. Wow, geez.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
another 12 right there. 44 up to Paxton Raw. That's about another 10. 54. Oh, but I can't summon these. So I have about 50 companions that I can summon and use. 50.
Some of them are in the list, but they're just like story characters.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
These 12 down here at the bottom are just story characters. But I will be able to unlock some of them if I did these side quests that I haven't bothered with, because I already have 50 companions.
Right. I have so many companion alerts I haven't done because, yeah, I already have too many companions. I know that's a weird way of looking at it, but
there's all of your original story companions. Some of those may leave you depending on where you play in the story. The Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne, spoiler alert, some things happen where your companions might get lost for a little bit of time. So question from the chat room.
forever.
Do companions off the cartel market versus regular make a difference? The one way that they do make a difference is this in particular. Some of your companions do leave you in the story, and some of the new story companions might come and go. Like, like here. You might be able to play with Darth Mar depending on where you are in the story, but now Darth Mar is not available to me as a companion. if I spent a lot of credits to get him to influence 50, and then he goes away, that's kind of a bummer. Anything you get off the cartel market, like that's all of these companions for me. That's all of these beast companions that I really, really like my Akdog and my Nexu. Those never go away. Some of those, though, don't work as crafting companions, but they do work as fighting companions. So all of these ones don't work as crafting companions. If you can get, I don't know if you can get off the cartel market, like, well, I think you can get like HK 50.
You can get HK 51, yeah.
51 or 55. You can, I don't know if, I think you can
Which is the one with the chapter? That's 51, right?
50, no, 51 is the old school where you collect the
Oh, from the Theoretica.
parts.
Okay,
55 is the
55.
chapter. And then
Okay.
Zoom is from the special chapter. So some of those, and then if you can get like, I don't know if you can get Darth Hexid anymore, or Nico Okar or Paxton Rawl from the cartel
No, I
market.
don't know either.
Those ones, if you can get any of those that were like special event, Shea Vizsla, Paxton Rawl, Nico Okar, those are my favorites because they never go away also either. They were like special. So you see the only ones that I have 50 are those, Shea Vizsla, Nico Okar, because
You can get Treek.
Treek you can get off the cartel market. Treek will never go away. Those are great ones to bump to influence 50 for crafting and for fighting alongside you.
And yeah, she can definitely craft.
Number 7, species. In fact, I will even log out here real quick and no, I won't log out. A couple species have been added to the game that, depending on how far you go back, 3 new species were added depending on how far. Cathar were added. You can buy those off the cartel market, and you do have to pay cartel coins. If you didn't, you could have gotten them for free if you had been subscribed at the time that those expansions launched. Cathar, Togruta, and what's the fish? The Will Smith's babies.
Nautilin.
Nautilin. Nautilin are the most recent. So Cathar, Togruta, and Nautilin. You can get those. You can unlock them with cartel coins if you didn't get them along the way. So those are a cool thing to remember as well. That was a little one, so that's number 7. Number 8. Let's talk about. I'll just go through it quick. It is a bigger thing for some people. PvP has been updated. At its core, it's pretty much the same, but a couple things that I wanted to call out that were updated around PvP. Ranked Season 13 has started this week, so it's a great time to get back into the game if you want to get back into Ranked. Gear kind of matters, but not a ton. Bolster will take you up most of the way, but bolster in PvP isn't capped the same way it is in like level 70 operations. The bolster is what's bringing your gear up and why you can do so much stuff naked these days. Bolster in PvP will bring you most of the way up. You're still going to want to get your sets, your tacticals, your amplifiers, and your 306 gear if you really want to be competitive in ranked PvP. But PvP has changed in that you can still get into it, and the disparity between like a level, a 270 item rating person and a 306 set bonus person, that gear disparity isn't as big as it used to be in the past with bolster. Ranked Season 13 just started. The other thing that is changed with PvP seasons is you gain a special currency nowadays in ranked seasons that if you don't hit the tier you really wanted to get all the tier rewards at the end of the season, you can use this currency that you're gaining along the way to still buy maybe some of the rewards that you wanted. And they're adding in previous season rewards, like the Season 3 Furious Gladiators weapon set that's on fire. That's coming back, and you'll be able to use that ranked currency to buy some of those previous rewards also. That would kind of be one of the few things that would make me ever want to even consider doing ranked, because ranked is serious business, and people treat it very seriously. And by that I mean they can get a little toxic at times. But if you're into it and you're willing to put up with that, it's not it's not terrible, but it's there. There's really great rewards associated with it, so it's kind of cool. They've also added a few new maps. In ranked, you're only playing the 4v4 arenas. There's a few new arenas that have been added. And in 8v8 unranked, they've added a few new maps and game types as well. In fact, we're here on the planet of Odessin, which is part of the Knights of the Fallen Empire, Knights of the Eternal Throne storyline. There's a PvP game mode, a brand new one that's sort of like a King of the Hill type of map that's based on this base on Odessin, which is kind of cool. There's also 3 Hutball maps these days. Some people are kind of down on Hutball. I love Hutball. So there's the Quesh Hutball map, there's the original Hutball map, and there's the Vandemir Vanden something Hutball map. Hutball is cool. I like Hutball. It's a really unique game style, PvP game style that doesn't exist in any other MMO. So I think it's something you should definitely support. A lot of people don't like it, and in fact, if you're into PvP, you should also read up on some of the dev tracker notes around PvP. There's been some announcements lately and a really good discussion of where PvP has come from, what they're doing to control cheating in PvP, and where PvP is maybe going to continue to change just a little bit with like some of the deserter lockouts and some of the things they want to do with too many Hutball matches queuing up and things like that.
I don't know if you've noticed this, Max, but on the internet, you can oftentimes find people who don't like something.
Yeah, well, it seems, I mean, there almost seems to be a consensus, and like at least in the forums and in the feedback threads around Hutball for some reason, and I don't get it because it's cool. It's like unique. I mean, if you just want to fight, if you just want to, if you just want to duel, just go duel. In fact, do we talk about Strongholds? No, Strongholds is next. There's a Stronghold where you can have a private dueling arena. You can duel to your heart's content. Heart's content. But if you're gonna play the a cool mode that's really uniquely Star Warsy and SWTOR-y, play some Hutball. It's cool. And then GSF, again, not much has changed, but again, depending on how far you go back. The original game mode for GSF, they added an extra one on, which is a deathmatch, first team to 50 kills kind of game. You have to play it slightly differently, like bombers are less used in deathmatch. They're more used in the satellite defense, but not all that much different in GSF. In fact, I would love some more things to be happening in GSF. Okay, number 9. What's number 9, Seema?
Strongholds. We have 9 now.
We have 9 strongholds now. Look, I've got 3 pages. I've got them all. In fact, I have 11. There are only 9 strongholds in the game, but because of server merges at one point, you could end up with duplicates, which I have. So I have 11.
I used to have a bunch of duplicates, but I went through and cleaned most of them out.
Strongholds, they continue to add them. There are some really unique ones. I recommend you check them out. If you've never seen like the Umbaran mobile base, ask someone to invite you into their Umbaran mobile base stronghold. It is a moving train that comes out of part of the storyline after Knights of the Eternal Throne, and sort of the wrap up of that once you get to Iokath, the traitor storyline. There's part of the story where you do one of the flashpoints where you're fighting on that moving train. The whole stronghold is a moving train that never stops. It's super cool. There's that. They added in the Rishi stronghold, which has 2 PvP arenas built into it. So down on the ground in the Rishi stronghold, there's more of a smaller dueling arena. And then you take a built-in little speeder in the stronghold up to a ship with a sky deck, a barge that's a big barge transport ship, and then the top deck of that ship is a Hutball arena that's customizable, and you can change the decorations around, you can move things around. Super cool.
I mean, that's that's something we didn't mention earlier too, is that you can do your own war zones, like guild v guild.
Right. You can create it, and it's designed now so that you can hold those kind of events, and you can customize the layout even. It's really kind of cool.
Well, in the Stronghold, but I meant even like Hutball, like the
Oh,
actual war
right.
zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I didn't mention that in PvP. There's a challenge mode. Oh, so look that up. We can't talk about everything tonight, but there's a really cool challenge mode where I form a group, Sima forms a group. We say challenge. I challenge you, and we get to pick the PvP map or GSF map, and we get to go head to head, private challenge between our two groups and go fight.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Super cool, and a great way to learn PvP. You can put together two groups, go into the Vanden Hutball map, and just wander around for a while and check it out. That's kind of cool. Great way to explore the maps. All right, last
Crafting.
one. Crafting, number 10. What is our crafting now, Seema?
Well, now it's grade 11. I mean,
You have to
it's
say
gone
it
to
right,
11.
Seema. It goes to
Okay,
11.
crafting goes to 11.
This one goes to 11. It goes to 11. So yeah. Crafting grade 11 mats are in the game. The gathering that you do will be in the new places. They'll be on Mekshan, on Ron, getting grade 11 mats to use. They sell pretty well because crafting still matters. Do you do what's your? Have you been doing much crafting lately, Seema?
Crafting is too hard for me now. I don't like it.
It is
So
quite a
I
bit more
yeah,
complicated these days.
I just do selling. If I'm going to sell anything around crafting, I just directly sell mats.
They've sort of made crafting 3 times as complicated as it's ever been in the past.
So I mean, there's good and bad to that, right?
Right.
It's just not for me.
There's 3 grades of mats. So not only are there grade 11 mats, just as so there's new, the artifact, artifact components, crystals, and artifact fragments. But there's 3 grades of them. There's the green grade, the purple grade, and the blue grade, right? So if you're going to make anything, especially if you're going to make, like here, say I want to make an augment, I need to gather all of the green, blue, and purple mats. I then make subcomponents of green, purple, and blue grade. And to make a blue grade component, I need to use green grade components. To make a purple grade component, I use blue grade components. Then I gather all of those components together with some very rare materials, and then I can make one augment. So it gets complicated. And this is for the high-end stuff. Yeah, you were sorry I interrupted you there.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So it's quite complicated. However, these are the best augments in the game, and the only way you can get them is for somebody to craft them. There's gear that you can craft as well. It's rarely crafted, but there are even, like here, I have 2 sets that I as an armor mech can craft that are exclusive, and only I can craft. They can only be crafted if you want to have the Escape Artist set and the Escape Artist set bonus. It's not best in slot set, but if you want that set, you got to get an armor mech to craft them, and it's an incredible amount of materials to gather and craft over time to make that full set.
I mean, I made my augments. I made my augments. So I know what it involves, and it's not how I want to spend my game time in terms of, making things for the market. So that's more what I meant. It's not my thing for credit making.
Right. But if you were a crafter back in the day, crafting is a big deal, is as big a deal as it ever was.
Yes.
If not bigger.
Yes, it is.
And more complicated than it's ever been. And if you were a crafter that got into that, well then great, because you can carve out a niche, because unless you're willing to dedicate the time to design out how you're going to go after it, a lot of people don't.
I am definitely not unique.
If you're not into crafting, the new materials, especially the new rarest materials, like these solid resource matrices, legendary embers, and processed isotope stabilizers, those are valuable. And if you're not into crafting, again, join the guild. This is why you don't worry about credits or buying things early on. Once you do conquest once, you will get solid resource matrices as a reward, and each of those will sell for 500,000 to 600,000 credits each, and you'll get a stack of them if you do conquest with us once. Then you're going to be getting a bunch of gear. You're going to be disassembling that gear. You're going to be getting legendary embers. Legendary embers will sell for, again, I forgot what they're selling for now.
I think legendary embers are for around 500K.
Yeah,
I don't know
they're
about
500 to
the
600K. Solid resource matrix are now down to like 100 or 200K.
Yeah, because everyone's selling them.
Yeah, but still, you can get so do conquest with us on a couple characters. You'll have millions of credits by the end of the week.
Yeah.
A few of us in the game are in the Tres Comas Club these days. I don't know if you've been listening to the podcast lately. I rarely talk about something as personal as how much credits I have in the game.
Rarely.
But it's Tres Comas. Do you know what that means? Tres Comas? That means 3 commas. It means over 1 billion. I have over 1 billion, just so you know.
And, the number of credits that Max has, it's dwarfed by many of our guildies.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I am not. I'm not rich. I mean, a billion credits is enough to like buy, like, awesome mounts and companions off the GTN and every unlock you can imagine, and you can do that over time. And I did most of it through crafting, but there are people up there with like probably tens of billions at this point. It's crazy.
So I have 1 billion
Seema
and
has 1 billion?
95K credits. So you know what that means, right? I
Means
basically have 95K credits.
5K credits. That's what it gets. Yes, Curvo. That is a Silicon Valley reference. Tres Comas. All right, we've gone long. Lot to talk through. Hopefully, if you're returning to the game, you got something out of this. At least 1 or 2 things. It's not exhaustive. This wasn't a guide. In fact, I would recommend now anything that we talked about that you're interested in, go find the guides associated with it.
Yeah.
And there's tons of them out there. MMO Bits, SWTOR, all of the cool streamers that are out there. Intisar, who runs This Week in Arabesh. There's cool blogs. There's cool video content creators. Go find them and listen to our past podcasts. You can look by title of our podcast. We talk about a bunch of these kinds of things in the past too.
We covered a lot of stuff, but I guess my parting thought is just enjoy the game. Don't worry about gear. Don't worry about crafting. Don't worry about conquest, because it will all come to you.
Yeah. Thanks, chat room. Bulk's a good one too. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Don't worry about. Just enjoy it, and anything you enjoy, you don't need to do anything to just enjoy the basics. Like story, just come back in and start playing some story.
I mean, don't worry about gear, because whatever
Right.
your gear is, it's enough to do the content that's right in front of you.
Yeah, credits, gear, none of that. You want to come?
Those are all mini games.
Yeah.
Within the game.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully that was useful. We may do one of these for if you're completely new, and what that looks like. And
No,
maybe some,
I don't
some
think we
tips.
will.
We might. But with that,
No.
our EPC 347 droid, 347 episodes is what that means, folks. Our EPC 347 droid is ready to kick out an airlock and broadcast this podcast to you, as all of those other droids are still broadcasting all of those other past podcasts of ours out there. If you want to catch up, feel free to do that. Or
Nobody
just
wants
come
to
and
do
check
that.
us, or just come ask us questions in our guild Discord. That's why we do the podcast. Keep up with us on Twitter at MaxTheGrain, at AIESEMA, or our guild at AIE-guild.org. Big link in the upper right of the guild's website there. You can get on our guild Discord, go down to the SWTOR channel and ask us for a guild invite. ask any questions you want. Just jump in there. You don't have to be in the guild to come in there and chat and ask questions. There's even a SWTOR Escape podcast channel way down at the bottom if you want to suggest topics for us. Come be part of the guild. Starforge, Republic, and Imperial side, we'd be glad to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.